Hello friends, what on earth has just occurred? Wow, there are some times, some nights when you are a football fan in general that you just go, wow, that was history, wasn't it? Like that was why we watch football. And if you're a Newcastle fan right now, get into the chat and tell me how you are feeling because that is ridiculous. And the first thing that I'm going to show you how incredible Newcastle's press was. I'm going to show you how there was a general setup and how they overloaded PSG. I'm going to show you how PSG somewhat underrated and underestimated Newcastle. I'm going to tell you about the ingredients that Newcastle used, and in particular Eddie Howe used, to get the best out of this team. And I'm going to illustrate how that is so, using, of course, average positions and heat maps. Because you know I bloody love them. But the first thing that I'm going to show you is this. Oh my good Lord. 4-1. 4-1. Now, not only 4-1. I can't. Your head must be exploding right now if you're a Newcastle United fan. What on earth is that? Almiron, Burn, Newcastle fan, season ticket holder. Oh my God. Sean Longstaff. A Newcastle lad, 2 Newcastle lads scoring goals. And Fabian Schär. 4 players that were, as soon as there was a takeover, were gone. Were out of the club because they weren't good enough. But what Eddie Howe has done with this group of players, and with a group of players that overall, you know, you've got a couple of sprinklings of experience, some fantastic footballers in their prime, and then some youngsters in there as well. But also, you know, Almiron, Burn, Longstaff and Schär, who have all just scored in a 4-1 victory in the Champions League, not in a pre-season friendly, against Paris Saint-Germain. I'm going to show you that one more time. That is insane. You have to be pinching yourself right now. Was it deserved? Well, let's have a look at the stats. Now, if you want to be that guy who talks about possession all the time, or even expected goals, right? 1.05, should you be scoring 4 goals? Maybe not. But maybe sometimes it's your effing night. When you've got 73% possession, should you be doing a little bit more? I mean, maybe. But if it's not effective, that number means F all. And if you look at that one single stat, you are utterly missing the point. What's far more important is shots on target. What's far more important are shots inside the box. And so, despite having only, what was it, 23% possession, 27% possession, this was so deserved. And the press, in particular, was absolutely fan-bloody-tastic. Wow. I just can't. I'm so jealous. QPR lost 1-0 to Leeds today. We're in the bottom 3 of the Championship. God, if you're a Newcastle fan, make sure you're enjoying this tonight. This is how the two teams set up. I haven't got PSG's names, but I've got their numbers here. And I think the first mistake that was made here... I say mistake. Yeah, I'm going to say mistake. In terms of the initial setup of PSG, first of all, you know, your 2 midfielders... Ugarte and Zaire Emery, both really exciting players, but 2 players that got overrun. And in particular, the press from Newcastle was absolutely fantastic because although this looks like the way that they set up, what really is important here are the arrows that I'm about to draw on the pitch here. Because, okay, 75% of possession. Hang on, let me get the ball. And let's let Ugarte have it. And he did. He had it a lot, actually. And actually, more so than anyone, actually, it was Marquinhos who had the ball, who is number 5, isn't he? So let's swap those 2 around just quickly. Sorry, let's get rid of those. So Marquinhos had the ball a lot. And the way that Newcastle got at them, and I'll show you some screenshots in just a second, was absolutely fantastic and really, really clever. And I'll show you the average positions that illustrate why it was so brave but clever as well when, as soon as they knew they were playing against a 4-2-4. Because what they did was, Marquinhos was generally, or even Hakimi actually at times, because if you watch the first few seconds of the game, Hakimi actually gets the ball, and Anthony Gordon gets at him, and actually it might even be Tonali gets him, and Gordon gets at him, gets at Marquinhos, and they win. I think it's a goal kick, but the important thing is that they press high up the pitch, and that is what Newcastle did throughout the game. In particular, in a more sort of set up way, what they did was they had 5, which is interesting because Bruno Guimaraes, you would imagine, and actually on this channel, we've, against a midfield 3, we've had a go at Bruno Guimaraes because he pressed up a lot higher, and you have quite a flat line there, which can be really, really dangerous, right? But what they did so well was, yes, okay, they would let PSG have the ball at times. But Zaire Emery was actually trying to get into these spaces a little bit, and it was somewhat risk and reward. But when they had the ball, PSG, it was proactive, it was assertive, and in particular, the desire was to not allow these players, the players like Dembele, the players like Hakimi, the players like Kolo Muani who wanted to get on the ball, Mbappe was over on that left-hand side. And actually, in particular, PSG were focusing down those sides. They wanted to make sure that if they were going to touch the ball, they were going to touch the ball in difficult areas, and they were going to touch the ball higher up the pitch. And that is exactly what they did. It was absolutely brilliant stuff from Newcastle. So the press was high. They were getting at Hakimi in particular. That would mean that sometimes they were going to try and stop the passing lane. Let's go to Marquinhos because he was a main one. And actually, I can just illustrate that, and we'll come back to it. Let me show you the average positions from the game, because this really, really illustrates exactly what I'm trying to say to you guys, which is the fact that players like Hakimi was really deep. He wasn't able to play where he wanted to. Ugarte then looks to help him out, but again, he's being kept deep. Hakimi had the ball here, but not higher up the pitch. And the further away he is, even if, and he did on several occasions, get on the ball and drive with the ball, he was driving with the ball in a different area. Dembele, similar thing, was able to get in the penalty box a little bit more as the game progressed. But in terms of Hakimi, and I think in particular someone like Kylian Mbappe, it was just really great proactive defending. And when I say proactive, I mean both ways. And when I say both ways, what I really mean is that it was just so good. Because what they would do is Gordon would look to get at him. Tonali would have to get him. Burns would get at him. But far more importantly, when someone like Ugarte had the ball, maybe not Isak, but that 5 that I'm talking about, they were sort of compact to a point. There was a bit of distance, to be fair, between the back 4 and that next line of 5. And often it would be a bit of a double pivot. But if that ball was tried to be played, what was so important throughout the game was not the desire to get forward. Longstaff, of course, did that. Almiron, of course, did that. Got himself a goal. Tonali broke as well. Gordon, of course, broke at different times as well. And let's just swap those two round because they probably were a little bit different. But more importantly, it was this way. It was this way. It was this way. It was this way. It was suffocating the opposition. So if you do want to get forward, that's all good and well. But Tonali did so much work. So much work. And actually, again, this side of the pitch in particular, Hakimi was a trigger because they were looking to make sure that Hakimi and Marquinhos weren't able to get on the ball. So Gordon would be up at him there. And then very, very cleverly, Guimaraes would come round, Longstaff would come round. And what that did as well, it stopped the ball from getting over to those two danger players in Mbappe and Kolo Muani. Gonzalo Ramos did very, very little. And another thing that was a real problem for PSG, in my opinion, was the fact that you had players that just all wanted to go this way. And so these areas are really important in terms of trying to get across how the game was played, because players like Dembele, players like Mbappe, players like Muani to a point, and certainly your centre forward, they don't want to go backwards. They don't have that mindset. But the mindset, the hunger, the dog in this Newcastle team was there for all to see. And it was there for all to see without the ball. So when you see 27% possession, forget about it, because they deserved this. They really, really did, because the desire from these guys was absolutely fantastic throughout the game. And I mean throughout the game. Because if we go to a couple of screenshots from the game, and this is in the 87th minute. This is in the 87th minute. I've just got a couple that I was able to sort of get together. 87th minute, like I'm talking about here, look at the body language throughout. The body language of Dan Burn. He knows that pass might be on its way. So is he hesitant? No, he's going to get at the opposition. The defence themselves, they're ready to shield across. There's a point to it as well. Bruno Guimaraes getting involved as well. Bruno Guimaraes getting at the opposition. Let's take it away. This is the 87th minute. The hard work and desire that was there. And actually, the exact same thing happened to Jamal Lascelles as well, who was absolutely brilliant in this game. Because when Mbappe went and got the ball, what was so great, I thought, again, was that Lascelles wasn't hesitant. He went and got at him. Trippier would get at Mawani, but he knew Almiron was on his way back as well. He knew Longstaff was on his way back as well, because Guimaraes would come back and work across. Longstaff will get at Mbappe as well. Whoever it was, they were surrounded throughout the game. And that comes from having fitness, positivity, bravery to go, fuck you, PSG. It's about us. That's class. And that is why the Newcastle fans have got to be so excited. And when I talk about those ingredients that were used in this game, that intensity mixed with utilising the crowd. Now, we're seeing this more and more these days. You're seeing Anthony Gordon go to the crowd after giving away a goal kick, essentially, but pressing. That was a clear directive, I think, and an understanding. And Dan Burn did the same. He made a tackle when, I think it was Dembele, looked to get at him early in the game. And he went and he celebrated like it was a goal. These things, there's nothing wrong with this at all, because you're connecting. You're bringing in the support. You're utilising what you've got, which is that St. James's crowd. And this PSG team were rattled both tactically and by utilising the crowd. They weren't up for it. They didn't know what to do. They felt suffocated. I think the tactical plan lacked nuance. I think there needed to be three in midfield. I don't think he needed Ramos and Mbappe. But, is this down to the fact that Mbappe wants the team the way that he wants the team? I don't know. I'm guessing when it comes to that. But what I do know is I think if you had three in that midfield, you would have had a much better chance of hurting this Newcastle side. But they got at them. They were absolutely superb. And as I say, that's the first screenshot. But if we move it on, and we can move it on, this is in the 90th minute. Positivity. Maybe it's easier to do at 3-1, but this game finishes 4-1. Proactive. Why are these guys even here? They're ready to get at the opposition. And again, if we move it on one, this is, about 10 minutes earlier. You could be sitting deep here, but the mindset is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Look at the body language. The body language really strong here, ready to go. On his way back, getting at the opposition, pressing, tight. All of them on the front foot. Absolutely fantastic performance out of possession from Newcastle United. What a historic night. And so many storylines when it comes to this team. Because you can run through the whole team. You really, really can. And can enjoy it. I think you can enjoy it. Anthony Gordon, I think, really interesting to see how he's playing now with Tonali and the running that he offers. But Gordon, when he gets on the ball, again, against a two-man midfield, really hurt the opposition by coming back inside. I thought he was a live wire. I thought he was great in possession. I thought they were concerned with him. And when he came into central areas, I thought he did brilliantly. And that was generally the idea, is to stop them playing down the sides, get them playing in the central areas. But let's focus on those players once again, because that's what these nights are about. Dan Burn, Shah, Lascelles, Almiron, Longstaff. What a night for these guys. And Chuck Pope in there as well, who made some big saves when he needed to. You can say what you want, and God, we talk about everything all the time, don't we? We talk about VAR. I tweeted it today, and people got a bit annoyed. I was saying that I was gutted about. So the reason, last thing on VAR. So I tweeted saying the Dan Burn goal being stolen by VAR was worse than the offside at the weekend. Probably shouldn't have tweeted that. My point is, if VAR doesn't exist, I don't think the linesman puts his flag up. And if the ref thinks it's a handball, again, if we don't have VAR, he just gives the handball. Either way, Dan Burn either doesn't head the ball in, and so it's not stolen from him because it never happened, or the goal is just given and he gets to celebrate that. And for me, in terms of what I want to see glory in football. I want to see those enjoyable moments. So with that, because I think I've rattled Twitter a little bit today, that's my point, is if you don't have VAR, you have to accept what's happened, because some people will say it's a handball, other people say it isn't a handball. I know it's touched his hand. I can't be asked to get into that right now. But the point is that I would have loved to have seen Dan Burn be able to know it was a goal and just run off. So I just needed to clear that up. But that's not important right now. What's important is that Newcastle United, let's show it one last time as we make our way out. 4-1. Absolutely fantastic. All of those players have developed, and it all comes back to Eddie Howe. What a job he has done. What information he's provided, what development he's provided, what team cohesion he's provided, what motivation he's provided, what connection he's provided. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, do me a favour, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, get down in the comments, and have a bloody good day, whatever you're doing, all right? Lots of love. Speak soon.